friends, welcome to my channel Science Unearthed. Today is our topic, our environment, and I have divided this topic into two parts. Today we will study part 1, and for part 2, please like, share and subscribe to my video. Today we will discuss about environment. So, environment, the world where we live, is called environment. The physical surroundings are included in this. The physical surroundings are air, water bodies, soil, all organisms such as plants, animals, and human beings, and microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. It means we live with all these things. Water bodies, they are around us, rivers, ponds, and seas, and atmosphere, which includes certain gases, soil, and there are so many organisms, such as plants, animals, and human beings. All these constituents of the environment are dependent on one another. They interact with one another and maintain balance in the environment. As you see in the environment, that we are dependent on one another. Plants, they prepare food and we consume so many things, as for example, vegetables and fruits, all those come from plants. So we depend on plants. And in the same way, all these creatures which are present in all in environment, they are dependent on each other. In psychology and medicine, a person's environment is the phys physical things and places that the person lives with. The environment affects the growth and development of the person. It may affect the person's body and mind. It means our environment has a big effect on our lives. The condition of living organisms in an environment are affected by the weather and climate changes in the environment. They are also greatly affected by other living things. Due to certain human activities, a large amount of garbage is produced. So these wastes are divided into two parts. One is biodegradable waste and other is non-biodegradable waste. Now this biodegradable waste is organic matter that can be broken down by living things into simpler substances like carbon dioxide, water and methane, etc. Those waste material which can be broken down to non-poisonous substances in nature over the course of time by microorganisms. So this biodegradable waste, this this can be changed into less poisonous substance by microorganisms. What are these microorganisms? These are bacteria. When you think of bacteria, then you always think that bacteria are harmful to us. But in certain fields of life, they are useful to us also. As for example, the garbage which is collected from our houses in the morning, that is collected, and when the garbage of whole city is collected, then it goes to the outskirts of the city. There are certain places which are meant for this purpose only, and these sites or these places, they are known as landfill sites. So whole garbage is collected there. So if you go to some landfill site, then you will see the mountains of garbage there. And they are so big and they are so large that they are not less than a mountain. So if they keep on increasing and increasing in size, then these mountains of garbage, they will become problem for us. They will produce certain poisonous gases and certain poisonous things that will become the threat for our life. So, to solve this problem, these bacteria or microorganisms, they are very helpful. They decompose the biodegradable waste into less poisonous substances. Then these less poisonous substances, they are not so harmful to us. Biodegradable waste, they decompose naturally and becomes harmless after sometimes. After full decomposition, they yield benefits also, like in case of compost. As we know that we consume vegetables and fruits, but the vegetable peels and fruits, they are useless for us. So we throw them. But these vegetable peels, when they are put in some place, then they turn into compost. This is very helpful in agriculture. So this is very useful. So benefits are there. We can convert vegetable peels and fruit peels into compost. Other examples of biodegradable material are animal bones, leather, tea leaves, wool paper, wood, cotton, jute, grass, fruits and vegetable peels, etc. It means all these can be converted into less poisonous uh, form. These biodegradable wastes are usually harmless to the environment unless treated at right time and is present in less quantities, otherwise they can cause some harm. So these bacteria, they help to convert biodegradable waste into less harmful form. Now, the other type of waste is non-biodegradable waste. So, but before that, we will discuss about the harms that are created by biodegradable waste. First is pollution. Biodegradable waste can pollute the air, water, and soil if left open. Other thing, climate change. When not handled properly, biodegradable waste can contribute to climate change through the production of methane gas from anaerobic fermentation. So this is the second harm. Spread of diseases. Biodegradable waste can cause the spread of diseases like typhoid, cholera, and diarrhea. This is because microbes that cause disease can breed in garbage heaps. So, for this, to avoid all these, we have to decompose this biodegradable waste with the help of bacteria. Next is health hazards. Biodegradable waste can contain persistent organic pollutants that can accumulate in the food chain. These pollutants can affect the nervous system, kidneys, and cause cancer. So all these, how they enter the food chain? They enter the crops, and when we consume that, that it enters into the food chain. Unpleasant smell. Biodegradable waste can produce an unpleasant smell when it decomposes. Next is breeding grounds for pests. Biodegradable waste can create breeding grounds for pests like house flies that can spread disease. Reduced oxygen concentration in water. When biodegradable materials break down, they can reduce the amount of oxygen in water. So all these are harmful effect of collection of biodegradable waste. Now next is non-biodegradable waste. Non-biodegradable waste is waste that cannot be broken down by natural or biological processes in a reasonable amount of time. These waste materials cannot be broken down into non-poisonous and harmless substances in nature by microorganisms. As we have seen earlier, that biodegradable waste, they are broken down by bacteria and they turn into less poisonous substances. But on the other hand, these non-biodegradable substances, they cannot be broken down. And the examples are plastics, polythene bags, ballpoint pen, glass objects, metal like iron nails, aluminum cans, silver foils, and radioactive waste, etc. Non-biodegradable wastes are major pollutants of environment of the plastic, polythene bags, ballpoint pen, glass objects, metals like iron nails, aluminum cans, silver foils, and radioactive waste cause major environment pollution. DDT, that is a major pollutant. DDT, when mixes with soil, then it enters into crop, and through crop they enter into the cycle. Some animal or human being, when take it as a food, that crop, then it enters into the body. So that is harmful. Then probable carcinogen. DDT is a probable carcinogen also, not biodegradable. DDT is biodegradable and can build up in animal tissues. Damages wildlife. DDT has been shown to damage wildlife. Now we will discuss about ecosystem. Ecosystem where we live. An ecosystem is a self-contained unit of living things. Plants, animals, and decomposers, and their non-living environment, soil, air, and water. As we see that around us, all these things are around us: soil, air, water, and certain animals, they are also living around us. Plants we see around us, and decomposers are also present. Decomposers are bacteria. These ecosystems need sunlight for their functioning. So an ecosystem is a self-contained unit of living things: plants, animals, and decomposers, and their non-living environment, soil, air, and water. These ecosystems need sunlight for their functioning. Now we will see certain examples. The examples of ecosystems are grasslands, desert, forest, mountains, ponds, lake, river, and sea. Now, when we say that a pond or lake is an ecosystem, it means this is not pond alone. Pond will include all the aquatic animals and aquatic plants, because aquatic plants and animals are also present in ponds. Similarly, when we say that a forest is an ecosystem, then it includes the physical environment of the forest, that is soil, air, water, animals, plants, and trees. Now, all these are examples of ecosystem. These are grasslands, desert, forest, mountains, ponds, lake, river, and sea. Every factor in an ecosystem depends on every other factor, either directly or indirectly. It means all of them, they are interrelated in some way. A change in the temperature of an ecosystem will often affect that plants will grow there, for instance, Animals that depend on plants for food and shelter will have to adapt to the changes, move to another ecosystem, or perish. Now, these ecosystems, they are of three types. Number one, terrestrial ecosystem. A terrestrial ecosystem is a land-based ecosystem of organisms and their interactions with the environment. They are a vital part of the global carbon cycle and play a key role in providing food, clean air, and water. Example is desert, grasslands, forest, crop field, and mountains. Now, carbon cycle. Terrestrial ecosystems store carbon, exchange carbon with the atmosphere, and respond to changes in atmospheric carbon dioxide and climate. They are crucial part of the carbon emissions caused by human activities. Food and water. Terrestrial ecosystems provide food and clean water. Habitat. Terrestrial ecosystems are home to millions of plants and animal species. Environmental services. Terrestrial ecosystems provide many environmental services that are essential for human beings. Next is aquatic system. Aquatic ecosystem. An aquatic ecosystem is a community of organisms that live in or around a body of water and are dependent on each other and their environment. It is water-based ecosystem. Example is sea, ponds, aquarium, lakes, rivers, etc. Types of aquatic ecosystem are marine ecosystem, freshwater ecosystem, lentic ecosystem, lotic ecosystem, wetland. Now artificial ecosystem is third one. An artificial ecosystem is a human-made environment where biotic and abiotic components interact to survive, but cannot sustain itself without human help. As for example, parks, they are man-made. Gardens, they are also man-made. Aquariums and agriculture lands, zoos and tree plantations, urban landscapes, rice paddies, croplands, managed ponds and urban parks. Artificial ecosystems can serve many purposes, including providing fuel, wood, and green areas for people to enjoy. However, they can also damage soil diversity. Now, please don't forget to share, uh, like, and subscribe to my video. Thank you. Now we will discuss about components of ecosystem. Number one is abiotic component. These are non-living components. These includes physical environment, soil, water and air, and some inorganic substances like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, water, phosphorus, sulfur, sodium, potassium, calcium, and other elements. There are other factors like light, temperature, pressure, and humidity. Minerals, tides, rain, dissolved oxygen, nutrients, soil, pressure, sound waves, aerial exposure, substrate, and water clarity. Abiotic factors can be physical or chemical components of an environment. They can affect the growth, reproduction, and survival of living organisms. For example, changes in temperature can cause birds to migrate and polar bears to hibernate. Next is biotic components. Definition is biotic components or living parts of an ecosystem include plants, animals, and bacteria. The way these components interact is important in an ecosystem. These are living components. They include three types of organisms. Number one, producer organisms. These are autotrophs. If you want to know autotrophs in detail, then you can see my video of photosynthesis. I have given its link in description box. So you can understand it in detail there. This is included in photosynthesis in my video. These are autotrophs which prepare their own food. As you know that green plants, they have chlorophyll inside them, and with the help of CO2, water and sunlight, they prepare their own food. They are not dependent on others. So these are known as autotrophs. Examples are plants, blue-green algae, etc. Number two is consumer organisms. These are heterotrophs which are dependent on their uh, for food. All the animals are consumers. As we consume plants and vegetables and different fruits, so we are consumers, and the plants are autotrophs. They prepare our food. Third is decomposers or bacteria, viruses. They consume dead remains of other organisms. The other name of decomposers are saprophytes. Bacteria and fungi are the functioning of ecosystem. How an ecosystem functions or works. From earth, soil, water, air, carbon dioxide, and water are absorbed by the producer organisms. Producer organisms are green plant, and they collect all these inorganic substances and they prepare food. With the help of sunlight, they produce or convert these inorganic substances into organic compounds like carbohydrates. The formula is C6H12O6, which is a food. The animals take their food directly or indirectly from plants. When producers and consumers die, then decomposers start their work. What who, the decompose They decompose the bodies and return various elements to soil, water and air. Thus our ecosystem functions as a self-sufficient and independent unit. This is all. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my video. Thank you.